All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Makar Kudash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule impeccably well. Shalom to the hopeful elect, pushing his truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe, in the sincere hopes of being delivered in these last days. This is the brother Yakanan from the GMS England branch, and it's going to be a brief video inspired by this article that you see here on the screen. And this was taken from the World Economic Forum.org and is entitled How Japan is Moving Towards a Cashless Society with Digital Salary Payments. All right. And as we know, or as we should know, by now, one of the main slogans of the World Economic Forum Collective is "You will own nothing and you will be happy." So, their agenda and what they've been pushing concerning, the World Economic Forum is everyone owning nothing, okay? As a way of solving, the so-called problems in the world that have been, engineered, by the wicked, engineered by Esau Edom. They're proposing that, the best way to tackle these engineered issues is to basically, get rid of tangible money, all right, to get rid of cash, and to as they would say, to minimize the carbon footprint, of each individual upon the face of the earth. Okay, this is the selling point that they are using in the hopes of getting rid of tangible money, all right, and switching over to a totally digital platform, the blockchain, and the the digital world, all right, the Internet of Things, so on and so forth. And this is the plan that they're proposing. And that's why you keep seeing these articles pop up regarding a cashless society, regarding this bank closing down, that bank closing down, this company's moving towards paying their employees in crypto, and so on and so forth. All right, the list goes on. Now, when we scroll down, it says the Japanese government is preparing to introduce a system for companies to pay salaries digitally without going through bank accounts by spring 2023. All right, so there's been a hastening, all right, in this agenda being pushed and it being fulfilled, all right, because pursuant to Revelations 12 and 12, Esau understand, and he knows that he has a very limited amount of time in order to get these things accomplished. Now, this is Revelations 12 and 12, and it says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that ye have but a short time." All right? So that's where the haste is coming from, with the pushing of this cashless society, all right? With the pushing of getting rid of tangible money and switching over to a totally digital system, okay, which is going to lead to an utter slavery and control of the people, all right. And they show you that in series like Black Mirror, all right. They show you that in particular movies, how they want to actually have this Orwellian world where they're in full control, and they have at their will, they can program you to do whatever they want you to do, That's the kind of power, that Esau is trying to get out here. All right. And that's why it says in Thessalonians, that he sits in the seat, of Yahweh Shem Yahushai and professes that he is, the Most High, roughly paraphrasing. Okay. This is what Esau is doing. All right. He's trying to set himself up as the Most High upon the face of the earth. He wants to be the all-knowing, the one that's in control, which won't happen. Okay. Prophecy says so. Now it says here, by promoting this system, which allows companies to transfer salaries to workers using smartphone payment apps, the government hopes to solve the complex issues facing foreign workers in Japan, expand the financial services market, and deregulation and promote growth. All right. So those are that's the point of sale that they're mentioning, in this particular article. All right. And you're also going to have, points of sale of these ideas regarding, it bettering your life, concerning the MOTB, which they're going to heavily market to people that are, disabled, all right, to people that, have particular ailments, and they're going to promote and market that technology to those people in order to, woe the minds of the people, all right, and these are the false miracles of Esau Edom, all right, and that's why the scripture says, for these are the, let's get it, because I believe I'm going to butcher it. Working miracles. Let's get that right quick. Lord willing, it'll pop up. I believe it might be Revelation 16, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is Revelation chapter 16 and verse 14. For they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of Yahweh Shem Yahushai Almighty. All right. So these are the spirits of devils working miracles. All right. That goes into Esau's miracles, going into his false miracles that he's going to be performing in these last days to woe the minds of the people to submit themselves, all right, onto this beast system, okay? And Esau's going to be doing a lot of miracles in these last days, all right, false miracles, because they're not going to be on the level of the true miracles and righteous miracles and power, of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, when those start accelerating in these last days, all right? And it reminds me of, going back to the Exodus, with Moses and Pharaoh, when they both were, or when Pharaoh, was trying to outdo, the miracles of Yahweh Shem Yahushai and the power, that the Lord bestowed upon Moses, okay? And they put on a show, but then you had the staff of Moses, turn into a serpent and consume, the two serpents of Pharaoh, all right? Roughly paraphrasing the story. And that's going to happen all over again. The power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai and the miracles of Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to completely confound the workings of the wicked, okay? And it's going to be a spectacular event, The power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to outdo and, out overshadow, the miracles of Esau Edom, okay? Because they're false, all right? They're false miracles. Now let's go back to the article right quick. I want to get in some more information as well that I have loaded up here. So it says, the government hopes to solve the complex issues facing foreign workers in Japan, expand the financial services market, and deregulation and promote growth. However, according to a survey of 247 companies conducted by Works Human Intelligence, a leading developer of integrated HR systems for corporate clients, less than 30% of companies are considering or will consider implementing digital salary payment, which that's going to dramatically change. And 30% is not to be downplayed, all right? Because as we know, ever since the pandemic, they have been, quickly accelerating, these business formats. And loads of businesses have been, doing away, with particular processes and putting in new processes that facilitate the beast system. All right, that's been happening. Okay, you've been having a lot of independent shops out here in the UK closing down. You have a lot of Elam, they own particular stores. They've been closing down because they can't afford to stay open. And then you're having these big corporate companies like Sainsbury's, like Co-op, Tesco's. They've been opening on every corner, taking away all the independent businesses. So everything is being centralized right before your eyes. Everything is being centralized and being, accommodating for this beast system. Okay? Because at the end of the day, the elites are going to own everything. And that's why they keep pushing you will own nothing and you will be happy. So all of this engineered chaos that's going on throughout the four corners of the globe is for a reason. Okay? Why do you think the Bill Gates of hell is buying up all the farmland? Okay? Why do you think they're doing all of these things? Because everything is being centralized, man. eBay, Amazon, the big major companies. Tesla, with the electric vehicles. Okay, everything is being centralized. So you have no choice. Okay, the common man and woman is going to have no choice but be a part of the beast system. Okay, because it's going to be all around you. All the processes are being changed right before your eyes. The only people that are not going to be a part and be consumed, by the beast system is the elect of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. Okay, we are the only ones that are going to be kept from the hour of temptation. All right, and let me get that right quick, and then I'll go into a second article that I have loaded up. All right, this is Revelations 3 and verse 10, and it reads, but thou hast kept the word of my patience. So, let me read that again. Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Okay? So, brothers, that are involved, in this truth, in this ministry, brothers that are making your calling and election sure, all right, you're keeping, the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushai's patience, man. Okay? You're waiting upon the Lord's salvation. You're not going to submit yourselves onto the beast system and compromise your integrity. Okay? And there's a reward for that. Okay? And it says, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation. So the Lord is going to keep us from the hour of temptation. The Lord is going to equip us with the mind state that's going to be needed to neglect and to reject, this beast system and the MOTB that Esau is trying to force upon the people. Okay? The Lord is going to give us, the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. He's going to comfort us in that dreadful time, to the point where we're going to be able to easily, all right, we're going to be able to easily say that, we ain't down with the system, all right, and we're not going to compromise, and we're going to stay true in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That's the kind of spirit that the elect are going to have in these last days. We're going to be firm and we're going to be sure in the decisions that we're making. Okay? Isaiah 33 and 6, for wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. All right? These times are coming upon us, man. Okay? The Lord is causing, that separation, to be, happening right now upon the face of the earth. Everyone is going to have to pick a side. All right, now let's go back to I'll get rid of this article. I don't need this no more. Now I have this article here, which came out some months back, and it's basically going into the you got the Chinese currency. It says China's new digital currency comes with an expiry date for better and worse. Now check this out. And this came out, even last year. I remember, this news came out. But it's interesting because you had this woman by the name of Catherine Austin Fitz. She has a lot of videos on Odyssey. Most of her videos on the tube, have been taken down, all right? Because, she goes into, the MOTB and, stuff of that nature. So they've taken down a lot of her videos. But if you want to watch them, you can watch them on Odyssey, and other other platforms that, show that kind of content. But basically, she was going into the fact that, with this whole, agenda, they're going to actually have the ability to program, your currency, your digital money that they give you, so it can only be used in particular shops. So, for example, let's say, and I believe she gave, a similar example. She was like, basically, let's say if someone was overweight, all right, they could program that person's salary, the money they receive or the money that they have, to only be able to be spent in particular shops. For example, if that overweight person wanted to go to Pizza Hut or go to KFC or, any store that was deemed unhealthy and bad for their lifestyle, their money will be programmed not to work in those stores. Okay, so this is the kind of control, all right, that Esau is trying to have over the people, man. To the point where your money is not even going to work in particular shops, depending on your situation, depending on your addiction, depending on your lifestyle. If your carbon footprint is too high, all right, then there's particular things you're just not going to be allowed to buy. You're going to go inside the shop. You might try and buy a steak, and they might say, hey, look, man, you've exceeded, all right, your allowance for steak for this month, all right, or for this week. So you have to wait, 10 days, all right, so you can buy another steak. This is the kind of world, that Esau is formulating right before our eyes, man. This is the kind of control that he wants, all right? And that's why I loaded up this article. China's new digital currency comes with an expiry date for better and worse, all right? So they actually want to put an expiry date upon the money, all right? Which stops you from saving your money, okay? Which always keeps the money in flow, in the society. And this is what they want. And it says here, as we enter the era of digital programmable money, China has now started introducing money that expires, and it can be used to stimulate the economy or just make activists penniless. Okay, so again, the point of sale is that it's going to stimulate the economy, all right? And also, they can use it to make activists penniless, so they can control anyone that comes against the system or that comes against the narrative that they're trying to push in society. Anything that you're not pleased with in society or you're not pleased with your government doing, they can easily just turn off your money, stop you from eating, stop you from living, stop you from using, public transport. Okay, that's why they had, such a thing in China called the Deadbeat app. All right, where you have particular people in society that were blackballed. You can look it up on YouTube. You had particular people in China that were blackballed and they weren't able to use the train system. And there'll be particular points in society, where you would go and there'll be screens and your face would show up on the screen warning people basically not to keep company with you, all right, because you had a bad, social status in society. Okay, that's very Orwellian, and that is what Esau is bringing to light. That's what he's bringing to life. That's that beast system, man. All right, and it says here, where is it? There's a particular point I wanted to get. Right, I'll just start from here. It says, the Keynesian dream to boost the speed of money, many may finally come true after the Chinese government announced it's exploring money with expiration dates, using its prototype central bank digital currency, digital yuan, or DCEP, as the guinea pig in a move that literally means your money or the money you are given by the government, remember you own nothing and you'll be happy, going into that UBI system, will expire if not used in a certain time frame. And while this can be used to stimulate the economy, it combined with China's social credit scoring system, it could also mean that if you don't behave or meet particular criteria set by the government, your money could just expire if they want it to, and let it, thereby giving them a new weird tool to keep people in line. Okay, so this is already being trialed out in China, okay? And probably more than likely, Japan is going to be next, okay? And then you're going to have, other nations, following forth with the same example, all right? Because the governments, the powers that be, they're going to realize the kind of power that they're going to have over the people when they have devices like this intact. And that's what it's all about. It's all about control. Now, I was researching some of the origins of this of this of this narrative that's being pushed, and it goes back to this German by the name of Silvio Gesell. All right, now check this out, and this goes way back. All right, to the 1800s. It says Silvio Gesell hated money, a German entrepreneur who moved to Argentina for business in the late 19th century. He witnessed a massive financial crash in 1890 that convinced him that money was behind the world's economic problems: poverty, inequality, unemployment, and stagnation. Now, all of these things that have been outlined, the poverty, the inequality, the unemployment, and stagnation, the World Economic Forum have already outlined those particular things and saying that once we get rid of basically cash, tangible money, and make everything digital, and again going back to the slogan, you will own nothing and you will be happy. All right, that's part of their plan. That's part of their plan of solving the world's problems, because they're basically saying that if you don't own anything, everyone's basically going to be on the same level. But everyone's not going to be on the same level, because the elites, they're going to have gold, they're going to have silver, they're going to have precious gemstones, so on and so forth. They're going to have cattle. That's why they're buying up, all the farmland. But it's the average person that's not in the 1% that's not going to have nothing. Okay, that's the difference. It says the problem, Gesell believed, was that money served two roles that often came into conflict. It was a way for people to store wealth, and it was the thing everybody needed to conduct business. The fact that money could store wealth meant its holders had a reason to cling to it, especially in crisis like the one he saw in Argentina, when opportunities to safely put the money elsewhere looked grim. It was a typical story. When people got scared, they hoarded cash and brought businesses to a standstill. It led, Gesell said, to a situation of poverty amid plenty. Gesell wanted to create a new kind of money, a money that would not rot like potatoes and rust like iron. And that goes into the digital currency. All right, basically just a number on a screen. But the scriptures talk about, the value of silver and gold. All right, the scriptures talk about real money, when we go back to Genesis, man. So it's all about real money, tangible money. But Esau, the turning of things upside down. All right, he's trying to go against what Yahweh Shimei Shai have already put in place. And it says, and rust like iron, so no one would want to hoard it. And money that was an instrument of exchange and nothing else. And the crazy part is that he did create it. For a series of pamphlets, articles, books, Gesell inspired a worldwide movement that introduced a completely new form of money. It's one of the most fascinating and largely forgotten stories in economic history. But after 70 years of obscurity, Gesell is making a comeback all of a sudden. This obscure radical from another age has his name and his ideas popping up in unlikely places, like speeches of leaders at the US Federal Reserve, research papers of the International Monetary Fund, and the pages of the Financial Times. As the industrialized world grapples with stagnation and as markets signal another recession, policymakers are struggling to figure out what to do. Could Gesell provide the answer? And he basically represented getting rid of money, and putting an expiry date on money. Okay? So these Edomites, they have they are the origins of this idea. They've been trying to push this, and it just shows you how deep the minds of these Edomites actually are. All right, and it leads into Psalms. Let's get Psalm 64. All right, because you can't put it past these devils, man. They've been putting these things into place for a very long time. All right, for a very, very long time. Now this is Psalms. We'll get straight to the point. This is Psalm 64. We'll start from verse 2, then we'll jump down. And verse 2 says, "Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Now, who's the secret council of the wicked? Okay, that's what, as you would know, as the Illuminati. Those that rule the world in secrecy. The Rothschilds. The Oppenheimers. Beginning with the Rothschilds. They're the top family. The Oppenheimers, the Bilderbergers. The DuPonts. The Gettys, so on and so forth. Okay, you have all of these, elite banking families that rule the world in secrecy. And it's them that are really the ones, bringing forth this agenda. So it says, hide me from the secret council of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Now let's jump down. And it says, verse 6, they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep. Now, when you go into the Hebrew word, for heart, it's a lab, which means your mind, all right? So let's read that again. It says they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the mind is deep, all right? So the mind, all right, of these Edomites is deep. Because, to get to this point, all right, there's a lot of data that's involved. There's a lot of digital analysis, all right, an analysis of the people that's involved throughout the four corners of the globe, okay, to get to this point. And Esau's been very patient, all right, with trying to get this agenda, off the ground, as they would say, all right. And again, like we read in Revelation 12 and 12, because he knoweth that you have but a little time. Okay, so now he's hastening. All right, now he's doing it quickly, because he can see, first and foremost, you have the prophets out there on the highways and the byways, all right, raising all hell, all right. We're letting our people know what time it is. We're warning Jacob of his transgressions, pursuant to Isaiah 58 and 1 on down. All right, and the word is getting out there, and he's being exposed. Okay, so he's got to act quickly. All right, but it's going to come to no avail. All right, because prophecy is always going to reign supreme. All right, so let's go back to the article, and then we'll close out. So it says, Gesell was born in 1862 to a German father and French mother, and he was raised in what is now Belgium. Back then, it was part of the expanding Prussian Empire. At 24, he moved to Buenos, Argentina, where he worked as an importer and manufacturer and did well for himself. On the side, he taught himself economics. All right, so he's all into the, monetary state of affairs. All right. Now it says, in 1891, hoping to end the depression in Argentina, Gesell published his first work, Currency Reform, as a bridge to the social state. He proposed a new kind of paper money that would have an expiration date. To avoid expiration, the bills would have to be periodically stamped for a fee. With no new stamp, they will become worthless. In this system, saving money would cost you money. Savings, in other words, would have a negative interest rate, all right? So they don't want you to have your own savings. Again, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Only by spending or investing, it will be able to avoid stamp fees, all right? So they're taking away all power from the people, and this has always been the plan, all right? And they, they want to have, the cream of the crop, so to speak. It says Gesell called it free money. Free because he believed it would be freed from hoarding, and also because it would encourage bankers to lend money without charging interest. The logic was this: if you're holding on to something that's dropping in value, you'll happily part with it, even if it means that it won't make you more money than you started with. It's like a game of hot potatoes. You want to pass it on. Gesell believed this would keep money whistling through the system, preventing future depressions and increasing public prosperity, all right, which is not going to happen, all right. It's not going to work in your favor, because the elites are going to manipulate, like they manipulate the system now. They manipulate the price of gold, they manipulate the price of silver and precious metals, and so on and so forth. Okay, so the elite are always going to have control over these things, man, so they can capitalize on it themselves. And that's all it's about, man. All right. So I'm gonna cut it off there. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. And until the next time, I'll say shalom.